Hi BookTube, it's Gina. Happy Friday. We made it. Yay. I am sitting in my living room looking out of my window and the weather is gorgeous here today. It's going to be warm and sunny in the 70s all weekend. I'm so excited because it's been very fall-ish weather this last week and I was just not emotionally prepared for it. I am a summer girl at heart. I know everybody, especially on YouTube, loves the fall, but I love the summer. So I'm in a really good mood today, and I wanted to talk to you about the books that I have finished since I talked to you last. It's been a little while, and I've finished a few things. So let's just jump right into it. The first book that I finished is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I loved this book, and I love this edition. This is not actually the edition that I read. I read it on my Kindle, but I love this edition. This is a weird book, so I did end up loving it. The first half I struggled with a little bit. The second half just took off for me and I loved it. This book is so much deeper than the movies ever portray, which is always the case, well, often the case, right? The movies just can't go into the depth that the book goes into. And this is just really, there's a lot of mistresses and marriage problems and psychological drama in this book, religion. It's so interesting. I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm so glad that I read it. And yeah, it's fun to read a book. It's the reverse of what I would normally do, which is read the book and then watch the movie. I've seen a million adaptations of this, and I finally read the book, so now I can compare it, and I really enjoyed it. Then I have two things that I read for Shorty September. This one I just showed you yesterday because I just bought it this weekend and I already finished it. So I bought it last weekend. And I finished it. This is Days at the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagasawa. I forgot to say yesterday that it is translated by Eric Ozawa. And this was exactly what it says on the tin, although except I don't think there's any cat. I don't know where the cat came from. But a young-ish girl gets dumped by her boyfriend, which is a huge tragedy. She's very dramatic. She goes to live with her uncle who runs a used bookshop. She lives in the bookshop, works in the bookshop. Sounds wonderful. While she recuperates, gets to know her uncle. The first half of this book I loved. The second half of this book was more about the uncle's wife who had left him. We know this at the beginning of the book. In the second half of the book, she comes back, and it's all about that instead of the bookshop. And so I loved the first half. Second half was okay, but overall I really enjoyed this little Shorty September book. And then another one for Shorty September, I read Gladys Tabor's Still Meadow album. This is more of a pictograph. So it's a picture with some text about each of the picture. So cute. Look at this one with the cat. The pictures are a little difficult to see. They're in black and white and they're very dark and very hard to see. But I love them. I love Gladys Tabor. She just so wonderful and cozy. So definitely a recommend on Stillwater Album. Another Shorty September book. And then lastly, I finished, and I wrote this one down because this one I actually read as a library loan on my Kindle. One of you recommended this to me, and if it was you, remind me. I've forgotten who it was. It was The Love Story of Missy Carmichael by Beth Morey. And I loved this book. I actually had a couple of problems with the ending. Up until one dramatic thing happened that I absolutely hated. This was a total 5-star read for me. I absolutely loved it. Then something happened that I felt was purely for dramatic effect, had no relevance to the story, and just really annoyed me. I hated it. And so it just bugged me. I felt like the ending of this book was a little off. It went from being an old lady. She is 79. She turns 80 during the course of the book. And you know I love my old ladies in books. Named Missy. Actually, she's a Millicent. She goes by Millie, but she's alone, living in a big house, very lonely, no friends. She has no self-confidence whatsoever. She doesn't do anything by herself. If she goes to a coffee shop, she's worried people are looking at her. She's very uncomfortable, which is very foreign to me. I do a ton alone. But of course, through the course of the book, she meets some friends, and it was just delightful for the first 3/4. The ending annoyed me. It got a little melodramatic. It fell a little bit flat. And then there was that one part that I absolutely hated. And I'm not going to say what happened because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I didn't feel it was necessary. I didn't feel like it helped to move the plot forward. I felt like it was just there to make you cry for dramatic effect, which just bugs me always. Yeah, I don't like it when authors do that, when you can kind of see them trying to make you cry in the background. It just gets on my nerves. So, but still, I still loved it. It was a really, really good book, and I'm so glad I read it. Yeah, and that's what I have finished. This weekend, I just started on my Kindle The Belmont Estate by Anthony Trollope. I've had this on my Kindle for ages, and I just saw Kate Howe do a video. She loved it, so I thought this is the time to pick it up. I maybe should have waited for Victober, because Victober, believe it or not, is coming. Victober is an event that I also love where we just read Victorian literature. So much fun, and I can't believe we're already planning for October. Can you believe it? But I did start that. I'm also going to be working on Romeo and Juliet for Shakespeare, which I'm very excited to keep reading. So I've got these two things that are currently in progress. And I don't know what else I'm going to start. Actually I did grab a couple of other things off of my shelves for Shorty September. But you know what? I'm probably not going to start any of these right now. So I'm going to hold off talking about them until I decide if or when I'm going to read any of them. So this is my current pile here. A lot of fun. I had a fun reading week this week, and I'm excited for the weekend. And I will talk to you later. Bye.